And then he mentions the papal teaching in Casti Connubii, which also quotes from Leo XIII, because the papal teaching of Pope Pius XI was given in Casti Connubii in 1935, and he's looking back to Leo XIII in Arcanum Divinae Sapientiae. So he goes on, incorporating the teaching of Leo XIII in the encyclical Arcanum Divinae Sapientiae, the present Holy Father thus concludes his section on divorce in Casti Connubii. Since the destruction of family life and the loss of national wealth is brought about more by the corruption of morals than by anything else, it is easily seen that divorce, which is born of the perverted morals of a people and leads, as experiment shows, to vicious habits in public and private life, is particularly opposed to the well-being of the family and of the state. The serious nature of these evils will be the more clearly recognised when we remember that once divorce has been allowed, there will be no sufficient means of keeping it in check within any definite bounds. Great is the force of example, greater still that of lust. And with such incitements, it cannot but happen that divorce and its consequent setting loose of the passions should spread daily and attack the souls of many like a contagious disease, or a river bursting its banks and flooding the land. Thus, as we read in the same letter, that is of Leo XIII, unless things change, the human family and state have every reason to fear lest they should suffer absolute ruin. End quote. And the Holy Father, Pius XI, continues, all this was written 50 years ago, so 50 years before 1935. Yet it is confirmed by the daily increasing corruption of morals and the unheard of degradation of the family in those lands where communism reigns unchecked. So that's the quote only in 1935. So we can see that if that was the condition of the West in 1935, how on earth can we expect anything other than the complete dissolution of society in our day? It was bad nearly 100 years ago. Nothing has been done to heed the words of the Holy Father. We can see that the Catholic Church is the light, the sole light, in a growing and growing, deepening darkness that enveloped the West, the Christian West, throughout the 20th century. And given that we went back with Pope Leo in that quote, back to the 19th century, we can see that we've had a long time of this decline. And Father Flynn was quoting the divorce law which was passed in 1857 in England. So we see there a particular date when the rot begins to set in a big way in England. We have a long way to go, but